Hello, welcome to this lesson, which takes us to part 5 of Face Manager usage. And today I'm going to add bracings in between our columns and stub plates, which will provide a seat and support for our RC beams. And this we will discuss in the next presentation. And please note that all these additions and supports and bracings we're adding to this structure, all of them will be handled and categorized in faces using Face Manager in Tekla Structures. Welcome to this presentation, and let's get started. I'm your presenter, Maurice Dimba. Now, this is our previous model, and I want to add a tie beam here and bracings and stub plates that will help us in supporting and providing a seat for our RC beams prior to placement of the masonry wall beneath the RC beam. Now we'll start off by placement of the tie beam, then we go to the bracings, then we proceed to stub plate. Then all of them will be placed in Face Manager as different parts. Now we'll go straight to steel. We'll come to steel beam here, and we'll start placement right on top here. We use this as our datum. We'll click right there and zoom all the way to this end. We'll zoom to the next column here and snap right here, snap right there, right click and click interrupt to exit that command. Double click on this to change the size of that beam. We'll click that and come all the way to this catalog that will provide us with a variety of steel sizes and steel profiles, and we want to use the universal beam. We'll scroll up and we'll scroll to the U profiles, which is under not U profiles, we need the universal beam here, the beams, the I beams. We'll come to universal beams here and the I beams, then we'll go straight to 305. We'll use that 305. We'll pick the first one, apply and accept that. We'll do the same thing to these beam properties. We'll accept that, and if you zoom closer, you'll see the orientation or the placement of this beam is not right. We'll double click on this to change the orientation. We'll come to position there and come to rotation and change this to back and click and see the change. We've just maintained the previous orientation. We'll give it front and see, do the same thing below, and actually that's how it should be. Now from there we want to give an offset downward by 1 meter. We want to offset this down by 1 meter or move it down by 1 meter. Right click and go to move. Go to move and snap right in the middle of this, on top of the beam. Snap there and just direct your cursor to the next midpoint, but within the steel member, and type 1 meter on your keyboard and enter that. Right click and click interrupt to exit that command. Here we are, and we want the face of the end beam. We want to trim off the extension of this beam into the column. Now we'll come to edit, we'll come to cut. We want to trim some parts. We want to trim this beam against the column. Now we'll click cut by part, and then the program is requesting you to is asking you to select the part to be cut. We want to cut that part, but we want to use this as the cutting part. That's it. And we'll do the same thing to the other end. Reason why I'm doing that, this enhances our accuracy when doing the marking, when placing other members that will be helping in support of these two columns. We'll do the same thing here. We'll come to cut by part. We want to cut this, but we want this column to be the cutting part. That's it. Right click and come to interrupt to exit that command. Then we want to refresh the whole thing, everything that we've done. We'll left click on the empty screen, then right click on the same empty screen, then come to redraw to refresh everything we've done. Now we want another offset, but just a guidance of the same beam downward by 3 meters. We'll click on this, right click and come to copy, then snap right the middle of the beam on top of the beam, then type 3 meters downward and enter. Right click and exit that command, then move down. Then from here on this member is where we want to start our marking right away. Now redraw to refresh everything. Perfect. Now I'll come to edit, then come to points. I'll come to online to locate a midpoint between the 2 points. I will select. I want that point and I want that point to get the midpoint in between. That's important. Then I will do the same thing this end. I'll come, there's no need. Once I've got this, it's critical because I would want to transfer the same points upward. So I'll place another marking here on this end. I'll do the same thing. I'll right click and come to interrupt, there, and come to edit here and come to points and locate the midpoint in between the points I will be selecting. I want a midpoint between that point and that point. Perfect. I'll interrupt that and give an OK to that. Now I want a midpoint between these 2 points. I'll come to edit. I'll go back to points and pick the first one, and I want the midpoint between these two, between that point and this point here. Perfect. I'll right click and interrupt or end that command. Now here I have 3 points, this and this as the midpoint. Now I want a midpoint between this and this. These midpoints will be transferred up here to help us in placement of our bracings accurately. Now I want to go to edit here and snap right here and snap right there. I will have my point here as my midpoint, but there's no need of doing the same there, but because the moment we'll place our bracing here, we'll be able to mirror the other side. Now this will be a bit closer, and the reinforcement will not be that strong, or the support will not be that strong. We want to shift it close to the column. Now we'll do the same thing. We'll come to online and come to that spot, snap there, and come and snap here. Perfect. right click and interrupt that. Now we want to copy this part, that point, come to copy and then snap right there, move it to that spot right there. Perfect. Now we will delete that spot. We will delete that, delete that. We don't need it anymore now. Click on it, right click and come to delete. Okay, there are several points. We use this to copy several, so if you delete one by one, it might take a little bit of time. Now we need these points. We need that point, press Ctrl, we need this point, we need this point, and we need this point. Perfect. Now I'll right click and come to copy, and I'll pick it from this spot, right there, and run all the way to the bottom end of this, beam right there, and to transfer all the markings I've placed here. Now I'll come to navigate under view and rotate this with mouse to check my point markings. From there I'll go to steel beam and start placing my bracings there. I'll snap right at that end and come all the way to the middle point of this beam right there. Perfect. Then I'll change the profile of this member. I'll double click on it, and then these beam properties will come up. Under that beam properties, I'll go to attributes, I go to profile and click select. This catalog will come up with variety of steel profiles and sizes. From here I'll be able to select the appropriate steel member for my structure. Now I want to use the angled profile, or RSA. I'll scroll down or minimize this to give me to shorten the list. I'll go to L profile, and under L profile I'll pick the RSA. I want to use the 70 by 70. I'll pick that 70 by 70 and thick, and 6 millimeter thick. I'll pick that and accept that. I'll come here and modify, give it an OK all the way. Then I'll come to this end. Perfect. Now from here I want to just to mirror this to the other end, so I'll come back to view. Under view I'll go to work plane tool. Under work plane, to change the orientation of my XY axis, you can click it anywhere here as long as it faces that way. Now I'll pick on this member and right click and come to spatial copy. I'll come to mirror, then I'll use a midpoint here as my mirror line. I'll snap right on top that, I'll snap below that, then you'll see the angle is 90, and I'll just go ahead and click copy and accept. There we are, and it has been mirrored to this end. Now next thing I want to do is to place another member here. So I'll turn this round and place and locate a midpoint between that point and this point perfectly. I'll come to edit. Under edit I'll go to points and pick the first one on on line point marking. I'll snap right there, and right here I'll be able to get the midpoint in between, or the midpoint of the 2 points. I'll accept that. Here we are now. Now I'll come to steel. I'll come to steel beam right there and snap right here. I want to place start my bracing from that end and wind it up here. Then I'll do the same thing of mirroring, because I don't have a similar mark at this end. So instead of doing all those, I'll just click on this and right click and come to special copy. Then I come to mirror. Then I'll pick my mirror line right on the same spot I used to mirror the others. I'll snap right there and come just below that and click that, as long as the angle remain 90, and copy and accept. There we are. We have our bracing there. Now this beam down here was just a guidance for placement of this bracing. Now this one is no longer of use now, and we will delete it right away. Now from there, I'll try to maneuver around to see how everything looks like. I'll come to now connections. Now before I go to stab plates, I want to place my connections here. First of all, I'll go to end plate. I'll go to end plate first. End plate. I'll run down here to simple end plate right there. Then I want to connect that and this, and I want to connect this and that perfectly well. Then from there I'll go to, from there I will go to connection number 11. This is bolted gusset plates. I want to place the gusset plates as a connection, as my preferred connection of the bracings. Now I'll just go straight to bolted gusset plates and click there, this and this. Then I press my middle button on the mouse and everything will take effect. And I'll go down here and do the same thing. I'll snap right there and here and press my middle button on the mouse, and everything will just take effect. Do the same thing here and come down here and do the same thing here and here. Press my middle button on the mouse and come here and do the same thing. I'll press my middle button on the mouse, then do the same thing here and that, and we move on. As simple as that. Click that and this, and right click and press the middle button on the mouse, and we move on. As simple as that. Now we are done with the bracings here. I'll refresh to remove these things that have clogged our working area. I'll right click and come to redraw, which I've severally told you that it is a refreshing of your model. Now you've seen everything has gone. Now from here I want to place my stab plates. To place my stab plates, I'll use the top end here as my datum, taking note of the very top height is 7.5, then there's 5 meters, then there's 3 meters. These are the various heights that we will be dealing with. Now I'll place my datum here, my my marking here, then offset it at 4.5 meters down. Then at that point I'll be able to place my stub plate. On that stub plate is where my RC beams will be sitting on, or be supported from. I'll switch back to my isometric view here. Then from here I'll go to edit, points. I'll pick any position for that case. Now I'll snap right there and exit that points command. Then I'll come back and select the same spot or the same point and right click and come to copy. From the same location I'll click, then give it a direction or where it should copy the next point. I'll direct it down here and give it a location of 4.5 meters. I'll enter it on my keyboard and right click to exit that command. Here we are now, and this is where we want to place our stub plate that will be supporting our RC beams before the masonry wall comes below the RC beam. Now I'll go back to applications and components here and type stub plate, right there. Then scroll down. We want to use this stub plate, or numerically named as 1013. I'll click on it, but the moment you invoke that macro, the program will be asking you to pick the part. I'll pick this part, then immediately changes to pick the position. I want that placed in this position. I located there, but it's taking the wrong direction. I'll double click on it, then I'll come to general. Under general, I'll be able to switch my axis. I want it to appear on the positive end of x-axis, and I'll accept that. It will definitely switch itself to that direction. Then I need the same. Right click, copy it from that spot to this spot. Perfect. I'll be able to double click on it again and give it another opposite direction. Under general, I want now to give it a negative orientation, but on the same x-axis. I'll go ahead and click modify and accept all that. And remember the settings of these stub plate. To manage them, just double click on it. After double clicking on it, the stub plate properties settings will come up, and all this you'll be able to set them here. The thickness, the breadth, the height will be done here. That is how it looks like. The parts, the parameters, you can change to whichever you want. And note that the orientation of the stub plate is controlled by your initial location of your x-y axis. As in our case, it is being controlled by how this y-x axis is placed. Suppose it was x-y axis by default location, you'll be able to control it from here. You select and give it that orientation. That's it. Now I'll close this because I've finished up with it. Now the thing remaining is now to categorize all these parts in Face Manager, so that when it comes to creating the shop drawings, it becomes just a click, and it's simple as that. Now I'll come to drawings and report. I'll come to Face Manager here, then under Palette, which is our current member here, or current classification of the structure parts. Now I'll click on that, then I'll click add. I'll add struts. I'll add struts and make it current. Under struts, now I want to add this, and this to be under struts. Now I'll select that to make it active, then come to objects with objects by face. I'll select this, then press Ctrl and select that, and come here and modify and accept. To confirm that whatever you've done has taken effect, you will come back to face manager and come to struts and pick objects by face. If you click that, you'll see everything is being highlighted as the struts. Now on the same breath, what I want to do is to add the bracings. I'll come under struts and add bracings. Under bracings, I'll type bracings there, then make it current. After making it current, I'll come to objects by faces and click that, then select the parts I want to be under bracings. I'll pick that, then come to modify face, then I'll accept and click on the empty screen to deselect what the face manager has classified as bracings, in order to give you an opportunity to go back to face manager and check whether what you've done is actually what you expected. I'll come to faces, then come to bracings, then come to objects by faces and click on object by faces, and you'll be able to see this being highlighted as objects by faces under bracings. Perfect. Now we'll go back to struts connection gusset plate for struts. Now I'll come under bracings again and add, and come there and change that to gusset plates for struts. I'll just type gusset, strut gussets, struts gusset plates. That's it. Now I'll make it current, struts gusset plate, that, then I'll select on it, then come to objects by face, I'll pick on that, then I'll zoom closer to this, to that, and click that gusset plate and press Ctrl and click that gusset plate, and press Ctrl and click this gusset plate, and come and click this gusset plate. Then I'll go to modify. Perfectly done. And to confirm this, that it has taken effect, you come back to face manager and come to strut gusset plates, click on that, and come to object by face and click on that, and you'll be able to see whatever you've done, it's perfectly well and in place. Now under that, I'll go back to face manager here and add the gusset plates for the bracings. Now let it exit that command. After that, we'll add the gusset plates for the main bracings. I'll come back to add. Under add, I'll click that, and bracings gusset plates, I'll click that and add that bracing gusset plates right there. Then make it current. After making it current, I'll come to face manager, objects by face, and click that, I'll come here and select that, press Control and select that, press Control and come here. I'm not able to reach this end. What I'll do, I'll come to View and come to Navigate and rotate with mouse and pick a position. I intend to rotate this point or this model about. I want to rotate it about that spot. I'll right click and end that selection. Okay, I'll press Control and select that. Perfect. Come back to that and rotate that to enable me access that part. I'll just zoom closer and pick that, select that, zoom closer and select this while holding the Control button on your mouse and select this. Perfect. Now I'll come here and click Modify, and all that will be under my classification in this model as bracing gusset plates. Perfect. Now again, I'll go ahead and add stab plates. I'll go ahead and add that. I'll click stab plates, stab plates. Stab plates is okay right there. Now I'll make it current. After making it current, now I'll come to objects. I'll pick the stab plates, that category, and then come to objects by faces and click on that. Then I'll go to select the stab plates, then select that, then come to modify face and click that and accept that. Then click on the empty screen to deselect what Face Manager has selected. Then this will take you to confirmation whether what you've done is absolutely right. Come to Face Manager and come to scroll down here, click that and try to check that everything is in perfect location. Now it's simple and clear that whatever we've done this side must be done on the other side. Now I want to select this, I want to select that and press Control and select this and press Control and select that and select this. Then I'll right click and click copy. I'll zoom out and copy it from this spot, and as I can see, let's just go ahead and do that copy command. I'll pick it from that spot and take it to that spot and wait for the result. It has been copied, but let's check whether it is right or wrong. I'll rotate it from that spot. Wow, it's okay. Now from here we want to populate this along. Let's right click the let's redraw this to refresh everything before now we populate everything along the x-axis. Now to populate this, we want to change our x-axis orientation. We'll come back to edit or view. We'll come to view and come to workplane tool and snap in either of these location. This will define for us the axis we would like to follow. We want to populate everything along the y-axis now. Now, before we invoke that copy command, we have to select everything we intend to copy. we'll select that, we'll select this, come here and pick that, come here and pick this perfectly well, and do the same thing the other end. We'll pick that, and again pick that, and again select that. Then noting that in between the columns we have 6 meters interval. And how many intervals do we have? We have 23. Total we have 24. So we already have one, so we need 23. Right click and come to special copy right there, and come to linear, under linear, and note that we want to populate this along the along the y-axis there. Now we'll come to y-axis and feed 6 meters interval. And how many number do we want? We want 23. Don't hesitate, just go ahead and click copy and wait for the result. Okay, there we are. We'll just go ahead and click OK. Then come to navigate here and come to rotate with mouse, and we'll be able to rotate this and check whether what we've done is perfectly well. We'll right click to redraw everything. We'll right click. We'll right click and redraw. We'll interrupt that, right click, click on the empty screen, right click and redraw that. Perfect. There we are. The bracings are well placed. But now our stub plates have not been copied, but we'll copy this. Right click and select that. Come here and do the same thing. On this side it has copied, just this side that has not copied. Now we'll just go right away and right click and come to special copy and go to linear. Under linear we'll just feed the same thing, just go ahead and click copy, and it will be copied immediately. Perfect. And just go ahead and click OK and interrupt that to end or to exit that command. If you rotate this, you'll be able to see that we have the stub plate here. We have the stub plate here, both sides. Now when we come with the RC beam, we'll be able to lay it on top of that. Then we'll place the masonry wall below that RC beam. Perfect. Now if we change our view to maybe perspective view, we'll be able to see this properly. We come to perspective view and click modify and apply that, accept. Now if we navigate this, we'll be able to turn this properly and see what has been actually done. Has it been done properly? Here we are. Let's turn this round and be able to see. Perfect. Now if I come to face manager under faces, I'll click that and come to bracings. I'll pick bracings there and make it current. If I come to objects by face and click that, you'll see everything being highlighted under bracings. Select that and check that. You'll see the whole model is being picked. The whole model bracings have been highlighted. Same will go to struts. Same will go to struts and make it current. Make sure you select on it, then come to objects by face and wait for the result. You'll see all these are being highlighted. Perfect. And thanks a lot for watching this lesson or video. Let's meet on the next presentation where we'll discuss how Face Manager works smart further. Thanks a lot. I'm your presenter Maurice Dimba, and bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos to come.